All right, let's get into it. We've spent a ton of time talking about the threats and defenses in this new age of AI. But now's the fun part. This is where the rubber meets the road. We're putting it all together into a clear, actionable roadmap you can actually use. And just so we're all on the same page, this is it, the grand finale. This is the last part of our 15-part deep dive, and it's all based on that fantastic tutorial from Virtualization Options LLC. We are zeroing in on one thing and one thing only, the implementation guide. This is where strategy finally becomes reality.
Right? This is the question that can totally freeze you in your tracks. You know you need it, but the tech is complex, the stakes are sky high, and, well, just figuring out where to start can feel completely overwhelming. So think of this as your starting line and the clear map to follow from here.
So where do we begin? Well, like any successful journey, it starts with knowing exactly where you are right now. Before you can even think about moving forward, you got to map your own terrain.
This is so important. Resist that urge to jump straight into sales calls and shiny new tech demos. The first, and honestly most critical step, is to do a thorough, brutally honest assessment of where you stand today. Where are you strong? And maybe more importantly, where are the real gaps that AI could actually help you fill? Think of this as your reality check. Before you even look at a single piece of software, you have to look inward. Are you technically ready? I mean, do you even have the data, the logs, the telemetry that AI needs to learn from? Are your current security processes clear enough to even be automated? And what about your people? Do they have the right skills? And maybe biggest of all, does your leadership have your back with sponsorship and a real budget? Answering these questions honestly, that's the real first step.
Okay, so once you've mapped your terrain, you know where you are and where you want to go, you don't just send the entire army charging in all at once, right? No way. You send out a small scouting mission first. And that's exactly what a pilot program is for, your AI security rollout.
This quote from the source material just nails it. A pilot program isn't about having a perfect, flawless launch. Its job is to find the problems. It's a low-risk, controlled way to test your ideas, tweak your approach, and, crucially, build the confidence and the business case you're going to need to go big.
And this chart lays out the difference perfectly. Look at the pilot on the left. It's all about learning. Does this thing actually work? How do we need to configure it for us? Now look at the enterprise rollout on the right. That's all about scale and integration. It's the difference between testing the blueprint and actually building the skyscraper.
All right, scouting mission complete. Now it's time for the main journey. You've got the proof, you've got the confidence, and now you're ready to scale this thing up and weave AI security into the fabric of your entire organization.
Now, a massive project like this can feel intimidating, but a timeline like this makes it feel, well, actually doable. It lays out a logical path for the whole year. And notice something really important. The pilot and the rollout don't even start until you've put in a solid 4 months of foundational work. Preparation, my friends, is everything. Of course, it's not always going to be a smooth ride. The source material is smart to point out these common roadblocks. Remember, your AI is only as good as the data you feed it, so garbage in, garbage out. And you have to be honest about the skills your team has or doesn't have. But that last one, organizational resistance, that's the big one. Sometimes integrating the tech is the easy part. Getting people to change how they work is the real challenge. This brings us to a really critical mindset shift. Getting your AI security system up and running isn't the finish line, not even close. The real goal is to create a living, breathing system that never stops learning and improving. You have to play the long game.
So how do you know if you're actually winning? It's not enough to say, hey, the new system is on. Success has to be defined by real, concrete, measurable results. You have to be able to prove that this whole investment is actually making a difference. So let's look at the first big metric, an 85% reduction in false positives. Now, that's not just some number on a slide. That's giving your security team their sanity back. Imagine your team being able to ignore nearly 9 out of every 10 bogus alerts that used to waste their time. That is a game changer for focus, efficiency, and morale.
Next up, speed. The goal here is to find a critical threat in under an hour. You know, in a lot of major breaches, the bad guys are quietly moving around inside the network for days, weeks, sometimes months. Slashing that detection window down to under 60 minutes isn't just an improvement, it's a revolutionary leap forward.
And finally, the response. The target is to shut down a threat in under 30 minutes using automation. This is where AI just blows everything else out of the water. It's not just about finding the problem faster, it's about solving it at machine speed, neutralizing a threat before a human could even finish their first cup of coffee.
So how do you keep that edge? With a continuous loop just like this one. You constantly measure your performance against those goals we just talked about. You analyze what's working and what isn't. You implement changes, tweaking models, updating playbooks. Then you validate to make sure those changes actually helped. It's a cycle that never ends, and it's what keeps you sharp.
Okay, as we wrap up not just this roadmap but our entire series, let's boil it all down to the absolute most important takeaways.
If you walk away with anything, let it be these 4 things. 1. AI is no longer optional. It's fundamental to both attacking and defending. 2. There's no magic bullet. You need multiple layers of defense. 3. Tech is amazing, but your people, their skills, and their buy-in are still your most important asset. And finally, number 4. This is not a project you finish. It's a strategic journey that you are always on.
So there you have it. We've laid out the entire map, from that first assessment to the pilot to scaling to constantly getting better. The path forward is clear. So really the only question left is the one that matters most. What is the very first step you're going to take tomorrow?